So if decluttering is on your mind, maybe at some point you found yourself really overwhelmed with all the information from YouTube, podcasts, blog posts, Pinterest, you name it. In fact, some of this information can get so overwhelming, it stops us more than it helps us. And unfortunately, there is tons of information out there that is straight up not true. So let's dig into some of these declutter myths so you can declutter without all the stress. Decluttering should be done all at once. So we've all seen the home makeover shows, and whether it's organizing, decluttering, or doing a home renovation, these like speed of light before and afters can be really inspiring. But what we're seeing is this highly curated and highly condensed version of a weeks and sometimes months long project from a team of people who are typically experts in their field. So one example, if you've ever seen the Marie Kondo Declutter show on Netflix, it's about a 24-minute show, right? And the before and afters are breathtaking often, and the families just feels so much better, and it's so motivating. And we think, oh, I just want to do this in one sitting like this family did. But it actually takes these families, and again, a team of people, 30 days, at least 30 days, and I'm talking hours each day of decluttering and getting organized, y'all. This is not something that most people have access to or can do with our busy schedules. Yet we want to get it all done in one go and never have to worry about it again. We want a magic pill that simply doesn't exist. And sometimes maybe through before and afters or shows like this, we get these ideas of what decluttering like should look like. And for some people that's like, I just want to dedicate an entire week and get it behind me. But it's not possible. And the reality is, again, these longer purges are great. They serve a purpose and can lead to tons of momentum, but they aren't the only road to clutter freedom. I want you to reimagine what decluttering can look like for you and make it sustainable and make it a habit, because decluttering is an investment in your time. Most people don't realize this. We feel like we spend our time doing things, but things like decluttering, exercise, taking care of our bodies, eating well, all these things are actions that compound, as opposed to spending time watching TV or scrolling on social media. So invest your time, 10 minutes here, 30 seconds there, 30 minutes there. It all adds up and pays dividends in the short and the long run. Decluttering is the same as organizing. Decluttering is actually getting rid of items you don't want, use, need, or love. All right. And if you're anything like me, I used to spend entire weekends decluttering, but what I was really doing was shuffling stuff around from pile to pile to pile and maybe putting it in new cute bins and putting a label on it that I had gotten from Target the week before. Now, organizing is very different. Organizing is when you make things orderly. You categorize them. You group like things together, all with an end goal of making your life more efficient, as well as saving time and energy when it comes to home management. So if you've tried decluttering, but now that you hear this, you're like, actually, all I did was organize it and move it into a different bin. If you notice the mess comes back days or weeks or sometimes even hours later, chances are you have a clutter problem as well as lack of organization problem. Always start with decluttering first. It doesn't matter who you talk to, professional organizers, professional declutterers, always start with decluttering first, because guess what? It saves you so much time on the back end when you're actually needing to organize the stuff you need and use. Decluttering should be easy. Reality is we are human beings with emotions and sentimentality. And unfortunately, there's no switch on our shoulder that we can just flip off when we are decluttering. I see so many people get so down on themselves thinking, hey, this should be really easy for me. According to this Netflix show, it took them 24 minutes to completely transform their home and get rid of their clutter. But now that you know it takes them at least 30 days of full-time work, right? It's not easy. Nothing about decluttering is inherently easy for most people. And so again, if that's your expectation and your reality is far from it, it's for most people going to shove you into the shame cycle, and you're going to feel bad about yourself. You're going to feel like a failure. What's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why is this so hard, right? We've all had these thoughts, but when we're in the shame cycle, we spiral out of control and tend to stay stuck and paralyzed in inaction. Decluttering didn't come easy for me. It took 2 solid years of high highs and low lows and a lot of in between to finally crack the code. You can't make progress if you are a sentimental person. All right. So sentimental essentially describes a person who relies more on emotion more than reason. So if you consider yourself to be sentimental, your brain finds really good reasons to rationalize keeping things that have emotional meaning to you. And the more rational those rationalizations seem, the easier it is to fall into this trap of resistance and the harder it is to let go. And so does this mean we just give up if we're sentimental people? No, there are some really simple things you can do to help. And number one is to never start with sentimental things. Believe it or not, people who struggle with sentimental things come to me and they're like, oh, I'm so sentimental. Where do I start? And I say, never with your sentimental things. Start with the easier stuff first. You have to build your declutter muscle and then you tackle the sentimental stuff first. Just like you don't head to the gym and start with like back squatting 100 pounds, you might start with like the bar, like 45 pounds, right? And you build up muscle, you build up strength. The same thing goes with decluttering. So don't start with the sentimental stuff. Number two is to take pictures or videos with the sentimental items. A Pennsylvania State University study found that people prompted to take photos of their sentimental clutter were much more likely to donate it than people who did not take pictures. And even more interesting, the research then asked the donors how they felt after they donated their things they had taken pictures with. And those who had a photo of the item were less likely to report identity loss. This is huge when it comes to sentimentality because that is a big fear. We feel like we'll lose an identity when we don't have the physical item. So if you want to let go of more sentimental things, consider taking the pictures. Also, donating directly to another person or a meaningful charity or organization really helps people when they're dealing with sentimental clutter. It can feel like ripping off a Band-Aid or worse when you consider leaving some of these objects that you have emotional ties to on the front doorstep of Goodwill and not knowing if anyone will ever appreciate them. So spend a little extra time if you need to researching people and places that would be meaningful and would love having that item. Over the last 5 years plus, I've created and refined my sentimental clutter process called the ART method. And this is something I teach inside my Clutter Cure Club, and you can join here. Decluttering is a one and done project. My guess is you have different lifestyles. Maybe for you, that is a parenting lifestyle or an exercise lifestyle. Well, decluttering should also be a lifestyle. So for example, I don't eat really healthy one day and then the next day go back to eating junk food, right? And say, but yesterday I ate well, so I'm healthy now. It doesn't work that way. And the same thing goes with decluttering. Now, can you do a one and done, like maybe once a year or twice a year purge? Absolutely. But you must know that the clutter is going to come back if you have no systems and habits to keep your trajectory heading in the right direction, up. Like anything in life, it boils down to behavior change and habits. So what are some simple habits that you can do on the back end of that big declutter project you do once or twice a year to ensure you keep seeing success? Decluttering is a personal experience and you can make it work for you and your lifestyle no matter how busy you are. If you are ready to learn how to take control of your clutter and make your home a relaxing environment, you can go grab my free guide here at decluttersurvivalguide.com, and I'll see you on the next video.